Some moments change everything. This was one of them. The camera zooms in on Sarah's face, tears streaming down her cheeks as she stands in front of the gleaming corporate headquarters, clutching a folder to her chest. If you're wondering how a single mother with $43 in her bank account ended up changing the life of one of America's most ruthless CEOs, and shocked an entire city in the process, stay with me. This story might just change the way you see everything. If you're enjoying this incredible true story, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel for more life-changing moments that remind us all of our shared humanity. The morning Sarah Jenkins walked into Blackwell Industries was like any other, except it wasn't. Rain pounded against her second-hand umbrella, already failing at the seams. Her interview outfit, carefully pressed the night before while her 6-year-old daughter Lily slept, was slightly damp at the edges. The babysitter had cancelled last minute, forcing Sarah to bring Lily along, leaving her in the building's reception area with a coloring book and promises to be quick. "I'll just be upstairs for a little while, sweetie," Sarah had whispered, smoothing Lily's unruly curls. "Ms. Patricia at the front desk said she'd keep an eye on you. Remember what we talked about?" Lily nodded solemnly, her small face serious beyond her years. "Be extra good so you can get the job and we can fix the car." Sarah's heart clenched. At 6, Lily already understood too much about financial struggle. The broken-down Honda in their apartment complex parking lot represented more than transportation, it was Sarah's lifeline to better opportunities beyond the bus line's limited reach. The elevator ride to the 34th floor felt like ascending to another world. Blackwell Industries occupied the top 5 floors of the city's most prestigious skyscraper, a far cry from the cramped one-bedroom apartment Sarah and Lily called home. The receptionist directed her to a waiting area where 3 other candidates sat, each looking polished and confident in ways Sarah couldn't afford to be. "Jenkins?" A crisp voice called 15 minutes later. "Follow me." Sarah smoothed her skirt, checked her folder of references one last time, and followed the assistant down a hallway of glass and chrome. The position was for an executive assistant in the marketing department, a significant step up from her previous admin roles, with health insurance that would cover Lily's asthma medications without decimating their grocery budget. "Wait here," the assistant said, gesturing to a chair outside an imposing door. "There's been a slight change. Mr. Blackwell will conduct this interview personally." Sarah's stomach dropped. Everyone knew about Daniel Blackwell, the 38-year-old CEO who had transformed his father's failing manufacturing business into a tech empire. His reputation for brilliance was matched only by stories of his ruthlessness. Why would he personally interview an assistant position so far down the corporate ladder? Before she could process this information, the door swung open. "Come in," commanded a deep voice. The office was cavernous, with floor-to-ceiling windows overlooking the city. Rain streaked down the glass, making the view shimmer like an impressionist painting. Daniel Blackwell stood behind a desk that could have comfortably seated 8 people for dinner. He didn't look up from his computer screen. "Sit," he said. Sarah perched on the edge of an intimidating leather chair, clutching her folder like a shield. Up close, Blackwell wasn't what she expected. Younger looking than in his press photos, with dark hair slightly rumpled as if he'd been running his hands through it. His tailored suit probably cost more than her rent for 6 months. So, he finally looked up, piercing blue eyes meeting hers with startling intensity. "You're applying for the VP position." Sarah's breath caught. There must be some mistake. "I'm here for the executive assistant interview in marketing." Something flashed across his face, annoyance. Confusion. Then understanding. "Davidson," he barked. The assistant materialized instantly. "This isn't Reynolds from McKinsey." "No, sir. This is Sarah Jenkins, 11:30 appointment." "My 11:30 is with Thomas Reynolds for the Vice President of Operations position." Davidson paled. "I'm sorry, sir. There must have been a scheduling error." Ms. Jenkins was next in the system. Blackwell's jaw tightened. Find Reynolds. Reschedule him for tomorrow. He turned his attention back to Sarah. I apologize for the confusion, Ms. Jenkins. My HR team will handle your interview. Sarah should have nodded, should have gratefully accepted the opportunity to interview with someone less intimidating. Instead, something, desperation, perhaps, or the memory of Lily's solemn face, made her speak. With all due respect, Mr. Blackwell, I'm already here. I've prepared extensively for this opportunity, arranged childcare, her voice caught slightly, and taken time away from my current position. Would it be possible for you to conduct the interview as scheduled? The silence that followed seemed endless. Blackwell studied her with an inscrutable expression. You have 5 minutes, he finally said. Convince me you're worth my time. Sarah took a deep breath and opened her folder. I've researched Blackwell Industries extensively. Your marketing department has successfully pivoted from traditional industrial clients to tech sector partnerships, but your social media engagement metrics lag behind competitors by 23% according to last quarter's industry reports. His eyebrow raised slightly. I've managed social media campaigns for companies with limited budgets, achieving engagement rates 40% above industry averages through targeted content strategies rather than increased spending. She slid a printout of analytics across his desk. These are results from my current position. For the next 4 minutes, Sarah outlined specific ideas for Blackwell's marketing team, speaking with growing confidence despite the knot in her stomach. When she finished, Blackwell remained silent, studying her with an intensity that made her want to squirm. Where did you attend business school? He finally asked. I didn't, Sarah admitted. I have an associate's degree from community college. I was working toward my bachelor's when my daughter was born. Single parent? She nodded, wondering if this was where the interview truly ended. Your resume? He held out his hand. Sarah passed it over, watching as he scanned the single page that documented her patchwork career, retail jobs through college, administrative work, and her current position as office manager for a small local business. You're underqualified for the executive assistant position, he said bluntly. Sarah's heart sank, but she kept her expression neutral. Perhaps on paper. But I... A commotion outside interrupted her. The door burst open, and Lily tumbled in, tears streaming down her face. Mommy, she cried, rushing toward Sarah. The lady had to go and said to come find you, and I got lost and a man helped me find this floor, but then I couldn't. She stopped abruptly, noticing Blackwell. Her eyes widened. Are you the boss man? Sarah wanted to disappear through the floor. Lily, this is Mr. Blackwell. I'm so sorry, sir, the childcare arrangement I made. You brought your child to a job interview? Blackwell asked, his tone unreadable. My babysitter canceled last minute. I had no alternatives. Sarah gathered Lily close, already mentally calculating how quickly they could leave with dignity intact. I apologize for the interruption. Thank you for your time. Sit down, Ms. Jenkins, Blackwell said, surprising her. He turned his attention to Lily. Yes, I'm the boss man. What's your name? Lily Jenkins. I'm 6 3/4. She studied him with frank curiosity. Your office is bigger than our whole apartment. Sarah closed her eyes briefly, mortified, but Blackwell's response surprised her. It's unnecessarily large, he said seriously to Lily. But people expect certain things from boss men. The corner of his mouth twitched. Are you hungry? Lily nodded. Blackwell pressed a button on his desk. Davidson, bring lunch for 3 to my office. And find Ms. Jenkins' original interviewer. Tell them I'm handling it. What followed was the strangest interview lunch Sarah could have imagined. While Lily happily devoured a sandwich from an upscale deli, Blackwell questioned Sarah about her experience, her approaches to problem solving, and her career aspirations. He seemed particularly interested in how she managed her responsibilities as a single parent while advancing professionally. "Your situation reminds me of someone," he said eventually, though he didn't elaborate. As lunch concluded, he handed Lily a company-branded notebook and pen, suggesting she draw while he spoke with her mother privately. Once Lily was happily occupied across the room, Blackwell leaned forward. "The executive assistant position isn't right for you," he said. Sarah's hopes plummeted until he continued, "But I have a different opportunity in mind. Our community outreach division needs someone who understands real-world challenges. The position involves developing programs to support working parents and educational initiatives. The salary is comparable to what you were seeking, with more flexible hours." Sarah was stunned. "Why would you offer me this? Your presentation was impressive. You identified weaknesses in our strategy that my highly paid consultants missed. You showed initiative and grace under pressure. And frankly, we need more employees who understand the realities our community programs aim to address." He paused. "My mother raised me alone while working 3 jobs. She never got the breaks she deserved." Before Sarah could respond, he added, "This isn't charity. I expect results. If you accept, you'll start with a 3-month probation period." "I accept," Sarah said immediately. "Good. Report to HR tomorrow morning." He stood, indicating the meeting was over. At the door, he added, "And Jenkins? Get your car fixed. Public transportation in this city is abysmal for working parents." Sarah stared at him. "How did you? You mentioned arranging transportation 3 times during our conversation. It wasn't hard to deduce." For the first time, he smiled slightly. "I pay attention to details. That's why I'm the boss man." That evening, as Sarah tucked Lily into bed, she was still processing the day's events. "Did you like the boss man?" Lily asked sleepily. "He's complicated," Sarah replied honestly. "But I think he's giving us a chance." He looked sad, Lily observed with a child's perception. "Like how you look sometimes when you think I'm not watching." Sarah kissed her daughter's forehead, wondering at the strange connection she'd felt with the intimidating CEO. Something in his eyes when he'd mentioned his mother, a flash of vulnerability quickly masked, had humanized him in ways his actions already had. Little did Sarah know that her first day would begin a transformation that would ripple through Blackwell Industries and eventually make headlines across the business world. Sarah's new position in community outreach initially seemed straightforward: develop programs, coordinate with local organizations, create opportunities for positive PR. But as she immersed herself in the work, she discovered a troubling reality. Blackwell's community initiatives were largely surface-level efforts designed for tax benefits and media attention rather than meaningful impact. 2 months into her probation period, Sarah made a decision that could have ended her career at Blackwell. She requested a meeting with Daniel Blackwell himself and came armed with a comprehensive presentation. "Our current community programs are failing," she began bluntly, showing him metrics and feedback from community partners. "We're spending millions on initiatives that look good in annual reports but create minimal lasting change." Blackwell's expression darkened. "You're criticizing programs that predate your employment by decades." "Yes." Sarah met his gaze steadily. "Because I believe Blackwell Industries can do better. And I have a plan." For the next 30 minutes, she outlined her vision: transforming empty warehouses owned by the company into affordable childcare centers for employees and community members, creating genuine career pathways through partnerships with local schools, and establishing micro-lending programs for small businesses in underserved neighborhoods. These initiatives would require significant resources, Blackwell noted when she finished. "Initially, yes. But I've projected the long-term financial benefits." Sarah showed him calculations demonstrating reduced employee turnover, tax incentives, and potential workforce development. More importantly, they would create meaningful change aligned with your company's stated values. Blackwell studied her for a long moment. You're either very brave or very foolish, challenging company practices during your probation period. Perhaps both, Sarah admitted. But you hired me for my perspective. This is it. What Sarah didn't know was that Daniel had been privately questioning his company's community approach for years, influenced by memories of his mother's struggles. He'd simply never found an internal champion with both the vision and courage to drive change. Implement a pilot program, he finally said. You have 6 months and a limited budget. Show me results. Those 6 months tested everything Sarah had. She worked countless late nights after tucking Lily into bed. She navigated corporate resistance, bureaucratic hurdles, and skepticism from the very communities she hoped to serve. The pilot childcare center, housed in a renovated Blackwell warehouse, faced construction delays, staffing challenges, and initial low enrollment. 3 months in, disaster struck. A pipe burst in the nearly completed childcare facility, causing extensive damage just weeks before the scheduled opening. The project committee recommended delaying the launch by months. Sarah called Daniel directly, something she'd never done. We can't delay, she insisted. We've made promises to families who have arranged their work schedules around our opening date. The financial team recommends cutting our losses, Daniel replied, his voice tight. Then meet me at the site. See what we're about to lose. To her surprise, he agreed. The next morning, Sarah waited outside the damaged building, anxiety churning in her stomach. When Daniel's sleek black car pulled up, she was stunned to see him emerge in jeans and a simple button-down rather than his usual suit. Show me, was all he said. Sarah led him through the facility, pointing out not just the damage but the potential, the carefully designed spaces for different age groups, the kitchen where nutritious meals would be prepared, the outdoor play area designed for safety and exploration. 23 families are counting on this opening, she explained. Most are Blackwell employees who currently piece together childcare with family members or expensive temporary arrangements. As they walked, a small group of people approached, employees who had heard about the damage and come to help clean up. One woman stepped forward. Mr. Blackwell, I'm Tanya from accounting. This center would let me work full-time again. My mother's been watching my son, but her health is declining. She gestured to the others. We all need this. We'll help fix it if you'll let us continue. Daniel surveyed the scene, the damaged building, the determined employees, Sarah standing resolutely in the middle. Without a word, he removed his expensive watch, rolled up his sleeves, and picked up a mop. Call the contractors, he told Sarah. Tell them we need round-the-clock work. We're opening as scheduled. The image of the millionaire CEO mopping alongside janitors and accountants spread through the company like wildfire. By afternoon, executives who'd never considered the childcare center important were arranging emergency repairs and additional funding. The center opened on schedule, with a waiting list that necessitated immediate plans for expansion. Its success catalyzed the implementation of Sarah's other initiatives, each exceeding projections for community impact and company benefit. 6 months after their impromptu mopping session, Daniel called Sarah to his office. Your probation ended long ago, he noted. It's time we discussed your future. Sarah braced herself. Despite her program's success, she'd continued challenging company practices and pushing for more substantive change. I'm creating a new position, Daniel said. Chief Community Impact Officer, reporting directly to me. The role would oversee an expanded budget and all social responsibility initiatives. Sarah was speechless. You've proven something I suspected when you walked into my office by mistake, he continued. Sometimes the most valuable perspectives come from unexpected places. He slid a compensation package across the desk that made Sarah's eyes widen. Do you accept? On one condition, Sarah said. The role includes a seat on the executive committee. Community impact should influence all strategic decisions, not exist as a separate function. Daniel laughed, a genuine sound she'd rarely heard. Still pushing. That's why. He extended his hand. Done. Over the next 3 years, Blackwell Industries transformed under the influence of Sarah's vision and Daniel's resources. The company became known not just for its business success but for pioneering corporate social responsibility programs that created measurable community improvements. Employee satisfaction reached record highs. Profits increased as consumers increasingly chose Blackwell products over competitors. Sarah and Daniel developed a partnership based on mutual respect and complementary strengths. He provided the business acumen and resources, she contributed the perspective and community connections. Their professional relationship gradually evolved into friendship, especially after Lily began referring to him as Uncle Danny, following his regular appearances at her school events and birthday parties. For years after the fateful mistaken interview, Sarah was invited to deliver the commencement address at her former community college. She spoke about unexpected opportunities and the courage to challenge established systems. As she concluded her speech, she noticed Daniel and Lily in the audience, both applauding wildly. Sometimes the wrong door leads to the right path, she told the graduates. My greatest career opportunity came from a scheduling mistake. What matters isn't how opportunities find you, but what you do when they appear. That evening, at a small celebration dinner, Daniel presented Sarah with an unexpected gift, the deed to the community center that had grown from her original childcare facility, now named in honor of his mother and serving hundreds of families. You changed Blackwell Industries, he said simply. But more importantly, you changed me. You reminded me why my mother started this company before my father expanded it, to create opportunities for people who deserve them. Sarah looked around the table at Lily, now 10 and flourishing, and the extended family they'd built among colleagues and community members. We changed each other, she corrected gently. That's what happens when people truly see one another. As news of Blackwell Industries' transformation spread, other corporations began implementing similar initiatives. Business schools studied their model. Legislators consulted with Sarah on policies supporting working families. The ripple effects extended far beyond what either Sarah or Daniel could have imagined that rainy day when a scheduling error brought them together. The story of the single mother who transformed a corporate giant became legend, proof that sometimes the most powerful change begins with one person brave enough to speak truth, even when their voice shakes. If this story touched your heart, please hit that like button and subscribe to our channel. Remember that the most extraordinary journeys often begin with unexpected detours, and the people who change our lives sometimes enter through doors we never meant to open. Until next time, keep believing in second chances and the power of human connection.